4 guy.
No, I have a whole bag of it, but they must have put it back in the bag. Since you know the master plan and the open space plan. Reading.
There you go. Oh, I got pen thanks. I'm just thinking about it. Okay, around. All right, welcome everyone who was here and those online, and we have Ariane online, and that it looks like it at this moment. So welcome to the Conservation Commission meeting of September 24th, 2025 at the Municipal Center in Bellingham. We have four members, 4 people in the room for the Concom and some other people, but we have 3 members of the commission on in attendance here on site for the record, and 1 attending on Zoom. So we do have a quorum for as required by open meeting law. So we will continue with the meeting. We'll do roll call votes for anything that needs to roll call for the record. First item on the agenda is the continuation of a hearing for a notice of intent for Blackstone Street alteration of bordering vegetated wetland, BVW, and its associated 100-foot buffer zone for the improvements to the undeveloped section of Blackstone Street, including infrastructure, utilities, and site grading. Those proposed the applicant. We have been asked by the applicant very recently to continue to the evening of October 8th, our next meeting. So having that request made by the applicant with no one present from the applicant, we will not discuss that item on the agenda except to accept a motion to continue. If so, made by one of the members here sitting on either side of me. Or are we on?
Are you asking for a continuance?
So moved.
The applicant is asking.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ariane, you jumped in there second. I'll take James second. All right, any other discussion about this? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor? I gotta do roll call, sorry. Ariane,
Aye.
Nicole,
Aye.
James,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Okay, unanimous vote. Thank you. So we continue to the evening of October 8th at 7 p.m. or thereabouts on the agenda. Next item on the agenda is 29 Iris Lane. This is a continuation of meeting for an RDA at 29 Iris Lane, alteration buffer zone to BVW for the construction of a garden. And the applicants here, that's good, thanks. Please introduce yourself for the record, Ken.
Myself, Ram Chandler.
You. Welcome again. We saw you, was it 2 weeks ago, 2 Saturdays ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Some members of the commission did go out to see the site, and view the anticipated or the requested area for alteration and boundary markers and, not boundary markers, erosion control markers, et cetera, that were going to be put in place if it was approved. Yes, Hannah.
I just wanted to let you know Pam also joined on Zoom.
Hey, welcome, Tim.
You
Thank
like
you.
it as well.
For the record, that's great, thank you. Yeah, okay, great. So how do we do this? So we looked at the site, observations from the members, both of you were there. What do you think? 29 Iris with the extension of the buffer zone.
Weren't we waiting for? Did we not ask for a different mark out plan of?
I believe there was a request to, no, you had marked the trees
Yes.
and you had shown us an area off to one side as you were facing the front of facing the house, I guess would be the left side, which is where you want some fruit trees, but you didn't have those marked per se. Some observations were made of just the site conditions overall. And I don't know that the area was marked pretty clearly. We found that their wetlands was well beyond way back, and Steve went way back in the woods before he even wetlands line. So it wasn't concerned, it wasn't as much of a concern with that. I think we felt that the ground that was disturbed probably by the developer when they put in the houses and so forth, and the tracks and so forth that were embedded in the backyard there, making the ground uneven. had started to grow in with ferns and other things, in the last year or two, and that the areas between the proposed gardens and with outside of the BBW, would be best left not dug up and raw earth, but left either as ferns or some of the plantings, and I think that was agreed upon, by the applicant. What else? I don't know that we actually asked for another set of, do you remember us asking for anything else from you, sir?
I might be
No.
confused.
Yeah, I think the other one we asked for some potential.
Yeah, I think it was just hard to visualize.
Right,
But I understand it generally.
and the erosion control of the property next door was already established, and that project was a different project, so I got that one, but we did observe that
Yeah.
right next door. Um,
Dumping, I mean, we're just gonna condition this, but yeah, there was some dumping. Of grass clippings.
right,
Yeah.
right, clearing up of grass clippings and other lawn debris, et cetera, and the future avoidance of putting anything back there is gonna be critical, and that will be more. Did we, do we, as part of the condition of the commission members, Pam, have you seen this site?
No, I was not able to make it out
Okay,
to see the
I
site.
wasn't sure. I didn't want to, I didn't want to assume that. And Ariane, did you see it?
No,
All right, we had the pictures that we had seen earlier, that were on the portal, they're on the portal, right? Were the pictures in the portal or?
Yeah, that I took from my
Yeah,
original site
right,
visit. Yep.
yeah, those were pretty good. I think when we walked aside, I didn't even feel that we needed to really take more pictures because it was pretty clear in the wetlands as well beyond. I think, I'm open to suggestions as to how the commission would like to proceed with.
Was it an RDA?
This is an RDA.
I'd be fine with a negative determination with no determination on the wetland boundary.
Okay. That's fairly standard for this case, and what about conditions to, well, let me. I guess we'll take it as a motion and a second, and then we'll just discuss, and you can add conditions if you want, but probably the most logical way, is that true, Ms. Hannah? You wanna
Sorry,
do,
what was that?
you wanna make a motion second and discuss, and then set orders and conditions, or do order the conditions before we make a motion and it's an official second?
Yeah, I would just discuss what you would like to see in the condition and then make the motion.
Okay.
I think that would just be a little bit easier.
So I think one of the conditions that we would wanna do is, make sure that in the order conditions, it says lawn debris, on site, lawn clippings, et cetera, so whether it should be removed from that area, is it 30 foot?
Yes, 30.
30 foot zone from the grass, basically back into the woods to the area that, the limit of the area that you're allowed to work. And that, the ground in between the proposed plantings as illustrated on the screen there, the planting areas of garden beds and plants be either left undisturbed or planted with, and this is up to you guys, if you want to just leave it required to be undisturbed. It's basically ferns right now. There's not much else growing there. Not sure much else will underneath the trees that are there. It's pretty high trees. Some of the smaller trees will be taken out, but only a couple of them. The large trees will all stay.
I think my
So-
thought would be leave the ferns and not disturb.
Okay. And we aren't, not that was asked by the applicant, you're not planning on filling in all those tire tracks, right? Just leave them rough
Yeah.
as they are.
Yes, I won't be touching anything outside of 30 feet.
Well,
Like,
the tire tracks go up within 30 feet
yeah.
across the
then
backside there.
I'll straighten it out, like fills with some sand and make it clean if you want.
Okay, I think we need to be clear on what you're doing, because filling with sand is one thing and leveling is another perhaps and so forth. So I think we want to be pretty clear on what it is the commission wants to happen. So these are, I don't know, 4 to 6 inch deep at the most depressions in the ground, you say?
Yeah, it's not.
But tire tracks, but they run across the back through the 30 foot area that is part of the area that he would be working in. So what's the commission's feeling on that area? If he's looking to level it, this is to avoid mosquitoes and so forth, I think you just mentioned in your earlier.
The water pooling and
Water pooling and so forth in there. If he fills it, it's gonna kill the ferns or whatever it's on there, because it's deep enough, those ruts are deep enough that stuff And I've been worried about not wanting to have that dirt then wash out in a heavy rainstorm, even though it's not, the ground's not pitched especially.
Well, I think like since like the tire tracks are so minimal, like they're not like the entire 30-foot area, just kind of runs along that
Well, it's
line.
sort of, a lot, yeah.
That if he just puts in a little sand or whatever to level it off, it's not gonna like, he's not putting sand over the whole area, it won't
We
kill
want
the
sand,
plants.
soil, that's my question.
Yeah,
What do you want? what
If
do you
we can
want?
leave the majority of that area undisturbed
Okay.
and just plant your trees. Without doing like, edging out an entire bed and like do as much as you can without disturbing it.
Okay.
And maybe just making it so that water doesn't pool, but keeping it very minimal, like just the tire tracks, I think would be all right.
Usually when we deal with, I mean, this is closer to the wetland usually when we do it this way, that usually we just rake it out, especially when the ground's not a frost.
Yeah.
So even not adding anything and just essentially regrading and
Yeah.
raking out the. rocks.
Unless that would be like cutting and filling from the fern area where you're disturbing all the ferns.
Yeah, well, I mean, those are gonna die, through 2-3 weeks at this point, so.
Yeah. But not digging up the roots and stuff.
Yeah, no, just a light top.
So I think that the intent here by the commission is to. You want to fork up, dig up, loosen up the soil that's in the tracks where it's compressed down, try to get back up closer to grade, so it's not as deep. Add a little bit of sand, soil, something
Okay.
mixed, and just in the tracks, not to spread out, go beyond that and, extend from track to track and everything in between. If the area is not disturbed, don't disturb it. And
Also, just by loosening up where the compaction is from those tire tracks might be enough to allow water to infiltrate.
And then you won't get water pooling.
You might not even have to add anything. So I would like kind of rough it up, like,
Okay,
and
just
see
like
what
that.
happens,
Yeah.
Implies monitoring, though.
Monitoring it.
Well, no, if you say you'd like to see what happens, that implies you want to come back and take it
Oh,
out.
I'm gonna him see what happens.
Okay, well, I just want to be clear on what the expectations are for the applicant, doesn't think. We are coming back for another site visit approval if it's not going to be the case, or that we are if it is. Okay, Ariane and Pam, do you have any input you'd like to specify, any orders, conditions?
I think that we've covered the major concerns.
Yeah, Pam?
I agree.
Okay. All right, is that clear enough for your info?
Yep, I have, clearing grass clippings, avoid any further dumping in the area, leave the surrounding area undisturbed, no clearing and grading. All large trees remain in place, that may loosen dirt in the tracks, but not beyond the tracks and within the 30-foot.
The only other thing I bring up for the commission, especially those that were not there, there were a number of signs. I think 3 or 4 visible maybe, that said open space. And we think that the developer put those up to mark the back edge of the properties.
Those are required under the order of conditions for the development.
Right, and what I'm wondering is whether we, the commission, want to have anything added in the way of no dump, no disturb area, indicating that it is resources areas, well beyond there perhaps, but there are resource areas beyond there, or whether we just leave it as the open space markings that the developer had been required to put in. They aren't very close together. They were, I think, noticeable. When you saw one, you could see it. It was pretty obvious.
Yeah, I think they were pretty much like just on the corners or like one in between. If
Yeah,
it's-
maybe 3 per lot or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What's the feeling of the commission? I wouldn't require a fence or anything like this. I don't think that's required in this particular situation. We're not, on the edge of a dumping area, fair dumping area. I think we're well into the woods.
I think it could be helpful, a sign or two for future homeowners if they eventually want to sell the property.
Do we usually only put those on the edge of the wetlands?
You should put them at the 25.
Yeah, because
Or-
Yeah, we usually put it on the.
No disturb zone, so if you're requiring a larger or a shorter distance, you also put them at whatever you've designated
Well,
as a no disturb zone.
If it's the edge of the open space, that is effectively a no disturb zone.
Yeah, so you definitely could, because it just says no disturb zone, it doesn't say like 25-foot. No disturb.
okay, because I want to be cautious because I think it's well beyond 25 feet before Steve hit wetlands
Yeah.
when I went back. So we went on and set that precedent. Okay, all right. How wide does that back of your property roughly? 150 feet? 175?
135.
135, okay. What do you think, 3 or 4? Patches?
Yeah, that's whatever you.
So I would suggest as a final order of conditions that we can provide, Hannah has them in her office, some badges. They just say Um. Exactly, what did they say, Anna?
No disturb zone.
No disturb zone.
Oh.
So if you would take 3 or 4 of those and put them on the face of a tree facing towards or sapling or whatever. If there's nothing in the area that you want to stick a post in the ground, you know, wooden post, simple wooden post, something to hold it up, about 3 or 4 feet off the ground, facing towards your property and the house. That would just help identify for future property owners that that's always place. You can put those up also, and that would be great between that and the open space signs. And you'd want them along the, not off of your property, on the back edge of your property line there. Okay. Any other questions you have, sir?
No, I can clear out the boxes that I mentioned, right? Not to touch in between.
Once we have voted.
Yeah.
And if we vote a negative determination of applicability, that means you don't have to apply for anything else and you can proceed. You'll have to wait to get something in writing from Hannah, which would come and she'll tell you when. Got it. And then yes, you can proceed.
Oh.
If the vote's up. Any other questions for the commission members? All right, I'll accept a motion. Someone wants to make one?
So moved.
Oh, wow, come on.
I'll make a motion to issue a negative determination on the work that he's proposing without making any determination on the wetland boundary.
I'll
With the
second that.
conditions- With the conditions as stated during this.
Yeah. With the
Yeah.
conditions as stated.
Okay, thank you.
And I second that.
All right, thank you, both of you. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Pam,
Aye.
Ariane,
Aye.
Noel,
Aye.
James,
Aye.
Mike, aye. All right, unanimous vote. So that's a negative determination, which is negative is good. That means you can go ahead. And you should talk to Hannah, next couple of days and see what her timing is to get you the, information that you need to have on file. And you're good to go. So thank you for coming in. Appreciate it.
Follow up with you.
Thanks.
Okay, next item on the agenda is 12 Monique Drive. Come on up, ladies, if you would, please. This is a continued hearing for a notice of intent. After the fact notice of intent for the construction of a shed and chicken coop within the buffer zone to BVW. Bruno Blanchard, 12 Monique Drive is the applicant, and Representative Nicole Hayes from Goddard Consulting is here tonight.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Nicole Hayes. I'm a wetland scientist with Goddard Consulting. I have a few pieces of information that I wanna provide. This was brought up at the oops, that jumped right out of my hands.
So, yeah, so it's-
Thank you.
This is the USGS map. There was a question about whether that stream on site was perennial or intermittent. And it is intermittent as per the USGS map with a light blue line compared to the dark blue line. Light blue line compared to the dark blue line. This is the site that's way off site.
Yeah, I think the point actually that we made during the site visit was that we didn't know that there was a stream there, period, and it wasn't noted in the original information that we were provided. So having not been aware of the stream, whether it was perennial or intermittent, we still want to.
Yeah, no, and that's okay. I'd rather have it, everybody agree on that fact. Also, during the site visit, the photographs of the trees that were cut, the applicants have documented that they were dead and they fell on their own. And the applicant landowner just cut up the trees and moved them. So as a result, we are asking that we don't need to replace those trees since it wasn't an act of negativity on the landowner's part. It was a natural progression of the trees. During the site visit, the commission saw that the chicken coop has been moved out of the no disturbed area.
Actually, it's not completely out in this.
Not completely out.
According to the line you have, draws as the proposed conditions plan. It shows the chicken coop where I believe it is actually currently located now. So
Okay,
it's not proposed anymore, it's actually been done.
yeah,
And-
Not 25.
Yeah, that's the 50.
That's the 50, okay, so this is the 50, but it is actually been moved, so it's not proposed anymore, is what I was gonna say, it's actually been done.
yeah,
As opposed to the shed, which is still remains where it was originally, okay.
Right, and so what we're asking from the commission at the present time is that we leave the shed in place, which is 359 square feet of impact. And we will mitigate that at a 2-to-1 ratio, with the guidance from the commission, whether or not they want the plantings of shrubs within the open wetland area that we saw on site, or whether the commission wants it along the edge of grass along the wetland line. So that's what we need to kind of discuss and know. So I can come up with a planting plan and present that final information to the commission.
I believe the property owner also suggested the possibility, if we wanted it, not that this was discussed at the time, but that as an alternative, that they could, if we wanted plantings to be done, they could also be done on the right side of his property line.
Yep,
That was
that as
possible,
well,
because there's
yep.
an area of grass that's already a disturbed area, it would not require digging up wetlands or planting anything in wetlands, if that was an indication that commission rather do that. Okay,
By right side, you mean the spot we were standing in?
as you face the front of the house, the far right-hand side of the
Yeah.
property line, there is grass area between there and the neighbor, and I guess that was the area that was proposed by the property owner at the time they were on site as an option if we wanted to keep plantings outside that and not the top of the slope. There was
Something
some,
like right here, kind of. Just so, okay.
yeah, from the curve there, not that red line, basically.
Yeah, along the
Along-
property line.
Along the property.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty much open right now there, so. I guess we have a couple of options to, first off, I guess the decision is whether we want to approve the request to leave the shed and mitigate, and so that's the first point, and if that's the case, then which form of mitigation we might find the most desirable is the second question I think the commission needs to decide tonight. What are your thoughts? Again, Pam and Ariane, you haven't seen, or Ariane, did you see the site? I thought you said you did, no?
No, I wasn't able to make
Okay.
that one.
Oh, it was
I
the
did
one
not
on-
see this
it
one
was
either.
It was Lakeview, I was thinking of Ariane View, okay, all right, so the site overview that's on the screen so forth is pretty accurate, as far as the layout of the property and so forth, and I think the feeling was observing the wetlands down below, which drops right off very steeply from the grassed area that's shown with the blue line between that and the proposed vegetation planting is probably going to be best done by hand, minimal disruption to the existing wetlands with, as recommended perhaps or suggested by both Nicole and perhaps Nicole, since there are two Nicoles here, but a smaller saplings or plantings might be more suitable in that location because they are, how do you rephrase it? Better at getting up and growing.
They're more easily transplanted and they establish better, quicker.
But they would still be big enough to not be overcome by the herbaceous layer that is there pretty thickly. And so you'd have to clear a small area, obviously, around where you're planting it, but you felt that would be perhaps better than doing 2 to 3 inch, doing something smaller in diameter.
Yeah,
Still be
smaller diameter with the
4 or 5
same
feet.
amount of quantity.
Right. And the types of trees that they were recommending, what do you think about those now, having seen the site and so on?
I believe that they're good species. The only thing is the arborvitae likes a little more sun. But everything else can go part sun.
Would that be locating them differently in that area or not using them, or what do you think?
The arborvitae's are
They're on
one.
the side anyways, right?
They're up
Yeah.
top. They're kind of more.
Yeah, that's a fine location for those.
So, just to clarify, we're thinking of not putting trees if in the wetland area, we're thinking just shrubs now, since we have proven that the trees were dead. So there's no required replacement of trees, but we are proposing the same species of shrubs, if that is still okay.
Well, mitigation is, I think, something that is at the discretion and discussion with the commission. whether you're putting in shrubs or trees because of trees being taken down versus mitigating actually because you're asking to keep a shed in an illegal area, that's not approved for. As a compensation, you stated initially you want to mitigate, so specifying mitigation of trees versus shrubs, I'm not super convinced is something that the commission, it's up to the commission members how they want to view it, but I think whatever works best for an overall mitigation plan, if the commission is amenable again to deciding that they want to approve the retention of the existing shed in its current location. How long was the shed there? A couple of years, he said, right?
2.
2 years, okay.
The one that was there before was there for about 30.
On the same foundation.
It was quite a bit smaller, but it was on that cement pad.
Yeah.
So the trees that had died and fell in the wetland, were those red maples? They look like them in this photo.
Yes.
Yeah, red maples don't have a super long life, so these were probably towards the end of their life. That's probably why they died. I don't think that's a bad location for trees. I don't necessarily think that's just because these ones died, that the ones you plant will die. Especially in a wetland too, like even red maples, their roots are wet all the time. So they're gonna be more prone, even though they like wet feet, they're gonna be a little more prone to like root rot eventually in older age. So I don't think there would be a problem if you plant a couple trees, and
Okay.
I like the trees because they do more stabilization than just shrubs, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like they stabilize the area better.
Yep, no, we're not against planting trees in that area. It's just the 2 to 3 inch caliper trees, I think would be too large for that area at this time, and the cost is very prohibitive, so.
Well, that's why I was suggesting like the small, like the 1.5 inch trees.
Okay.
They would transplant better and establish better. And you could even like spread them out a little bit more too, but
Okay.
I definitely think those would establish better.
And we're talking about two different things, if I'm understanding this right. I think what Nicole is trying to say, that Nicole
Yeah,
is trying to say
One.
was our bylaw has a tree replacement policy or requirement, and I think with the evidence they've presented to us, they're saying they don't need to comply with that.
exactly. That's exactly what I was
And
saying.
then, but there's a separate also mitigation for the shed, which could be trees. But I think the argument is that the applicant doesn't have to follow the prescriptive language of the bylaw by size of tree and however many, because they don't apply with the evidence they presented to us.
Based on the experience of the commission members, Nicole and Hartford in particular, I'm focused mostly on what is going to make it most successful replication, mitigation area. And not as concerned about whether we're replacing a 2 inch with a 1 inch for a tree, and the success of, and whether they should be trees in that area and what type and all that is more of my focus. Ariana and Pam, any input?
I mean, I agree that the original plan, it was definitely very crowded in there and it didn't look like it had a high rate of success. Or that it would have a high rate of success. So I'd be fine with reducing the number of trees, but I'm also in general not really feeling the mitigation in the wetland part.
So of the other two options, it seemed to be a potential mitigation areas. One is bringing everything up from that colored in dotted area on the proposed conditions plan as seen on the screens to the edge of the grass area and up onto the bank a little bit of the back of the yard. That was when we were on site possibility. However, that, in the opinion of some of the people there, would probably require then changes in the vegetation that you would be putting in plantings, correct?
Yeah, you don't really want to plant the trees that close to the house, and also like, are they gonna be losing a lot of their backyard?
Depends on how
No.
how thick an area that's planted,
Is
whether
that
you
something that they care about? Like,
move it in and up. And the other option was to do some sort of planting, again, like deciding on the species and whether it's in a mitigation really, or just moving, planting trees. To the right side of the property as you face the house, to the right hand, the lower part on the plans of the red line, property line, doing a row of some sort of number of trees of some sort of species, which was the third, pretty much the only other area on the property, I think that you could consider doing some sort of mitigation.
Can you refresh
So-
my memory, what in the proposed mitigation, what is there right now?
What is their what breakdown?
No,
Well, right
in there
now?
right now, that would be coming out.
Oh, I don't think we're taking out anything. It's just a low grassy, wet area that's down at the bottom of well, where that area is that's shown with the dots on it, basically for the plantings. That's about a pretty good summary of the area that's wet. I don't think there was anything taller than 3 feet tall down there in that area now,
If that, yeah.
if that. Most of it was grassy and it looked pretty wet. I wasn't gonna wanna wander around there on a rainy day or like tomorrow afternoon or something like that. After
Oh,
getting
thank you,
into rain.
Hannah.
A lot of stuff think we're seeing in the picture would be dead and over the course of the winter and then just come back again next year.
Well, that's, when we first had this come in front of us before going to see it in person, I was on, the same side as Ariane with not wanting to mitigate
Wetlands.
in the wetland, because that's not where the impact was, but after seeing it in person, that wetland, my opinion, it's not a super, high value wetland, and I think this would ultimately create more
Yeah,
value.
that's what I was thinking.
Only for wildlife, if nothing else, yeah.
Were there any invasive species in it that you could identify?
I'm gonna guess there's poison ivy, but I'm not gonna
That's-
say. We didn't
Poison
wander
ivy's
down.
not invasive.
We didn't
Talking
wander
about
down.
like
I know. I'm
Oriental
kidding.
bittersweet, you know.
We didn't investigate that, to be honest.
Chances are good.
Yeah,
Probably,
chances are pretty high.
It wasn't blatantly obvious, if that helps. It wasn't blatantly obvious, there was invasive species all over the place.
Yeah.
Definitely not just like covered in bittersweet.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
But it's pretty open.
No, but I was thinking along the same lines as James, is that it would enhance that area, enhance the wetlands. And, on the other hand, like putting it within the 25-foot buffer zone, might, like if there's any runoff or anything, that those plants might mitigate the soil before any runoff gets into the wetlands. So it's kind of like you can go either way.
and just for our record, Nicole, or for our reference, I think I asked this on the site visit, how far from the intermittent stream is the property line? Because the stream is off their property, right?
Yeah,
Next to the property line, doesn't it?
I
I
think
thought-
maybe it was around 15 feet.
Right, because you're proposing going right up to the edge of the replication area. I'm sorry, mitigation area. That's just a consideration.
Yeah, it would have
Well,
definitely be
perfect.
on the site. Yeah, we'd have to shape it so it's on the site.
Well, staying away from the stream as much as possible.
Yeah.
We don't impact that, intermittent or not.
Right.
Okay. Other thoughts, questions?
I am curious about who had gone and seen the site, what your thoughts are on the proposed new location of the chicken coop.
It's not proposed anymore.
Yeah,
It's as permanent as can be.
It's been moved to that location.
It's where it shows on the line. It's out as close to the house as you can reasonably get it. It's a very permanent type structure. I think it's fox proof or bear proof perhaps, who knows? It's but pretty sturdy. I wouldn't want to be caught inside it. With all those chickens.
It looks pretty comfy though.
The chickens were very social.
Yeah, they're very social. Gone had a great time. Anyway, the shed is, as I said, shows in the plan, still where it was before, but the chicken coop is now in the proposed conditions location, basically.
And it was moved to that location because of Dylan's suggestion.
So
Right.
I think what happened is there was a little bit of confusion with Dylan versus me, and Dylan did give them the go ahead to be like, yep, we want to move, but not on the septic, and I was like, we should probably wait to actually move it until we get confirmation from the commission, but I think there was just some confusion there, and they were moving it away, so I was like, I don't
In
know.
the right direction, I guess.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
improvement, right?
It is. Okay, any other comments, questions? If not, I'll accept the motion of some sort from someone, commission.
I'll move.
Okay, just confused, like, are we
Well,
voting on?
I think the first motion that we need to decide as to whether we accept the request to leave the shed where it is. And then
Yeah.
as part of that, yeah,
We want to just do that by poll vote and then just have one clean motion at the end with everything in it. Because there's multiple things, the plantings, I don't
Right.
think we came, I mean, it sounded like we came to a consensus, but I don't know if we did. The
Well,
shed location.
Yeah, I was not clear on a
Yeah.
consensus as far as plantings.
I think we could probably do it all at once. I think we're
Yeah, I
probably all
think-
in agreement.
Go ahead, make the proposal if you want, and then we'll just see if it's clear enough. If not, then we'll have to tweak it before it's seconded, and then we can decide if that's enough to add the.
Well, so let's say I make a motion and then someone or multiple people don't agree with the motion, then we'd have to make a new motion. So that's why I'm saying it, I think it would make sense to poll straw everybody to say, this is what we want to do with the shed, this is what we want to do with the plantings, and then at that point, we'll all have agreed, and then we make one clean motion.
So
Why don't
now
we
we're
just do a
discussion,
practice
vote,
motion?
Okay, yes, do we like this?
Right.
Yes, do we like this? Yes, do we- and then do one big vote right at the end.
If
So
there's-
not making a motion yet.
If there's anyone who, on the commission, who does not feel that they want to allow the shed to remain where it is and do mitigation, speak now. Okay. If there is anyone who does not want to do a replication, sorry, a mitigation, the right word here, mitigation in the proposed area at the in the wetlands area, with all sorts of conditions that we can establish, pan planting, all that stuff, number of things. But would rather have it done somewhere else or in another way, speak now. Okay, so, go ahead, make a motion.
Okay. I'll move to approve the NOI, issue an order of conditions. With the special conditions being that the planting plan is followed as proposed / edited, because I believe we made some changes to what was originally proposed.
Sizes of
Shrubs, yeah, that type of stuff, which I think Hannah can take. At least, on the written version, have it be right, and then, the only other thing I'd like to add would be the monitoring for the 3 years.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, Pam and Ariane not being in the room, I can't see your faces to know whether that's clear enough for you.
That is clear to me.
She thumbs up.
Yeah, oh, Ariane put a thumbs up, I'm sorry, I missed the thumbs up there, okay. All right, good, all right, so. Nicole, do
Oh, yeah.
you have any questions? You're clear on what we're asking to
So-
propose?
I believe that,
Or-
the species that I cited on that planting plan are okay. We're just going to, the number of trees and the caliber of trees may differ. Is that,
The planting plan looks good, the species looks good.
okay,
I think,
I
think
can't
we
Was
see
it
it
the
in
number or was it the size?
think
That
I thought it was the size.
The size.
Could be reduced to
Yeah.
1.5
1.5 inches.
That was what I
Okay.
picked up on
And
it.
I think we can add, as like the language of the condition can be like. The
Subject
agent
to
has the
approval.
discretion, yeah, something like
Yeah.
that.
subject to
So it'll
final.
be a little cheaper, but also I feel like the trees will genuinely establish better in the
Yeah.
wetland when they're younger.
Probably a lot easier to plant it too. almost more.
Yep, a lot easier to hand plant.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Oh, Nicole, okay, thanks. Any other discussion?
I have a question.
Okay.
You're not planning on getting this in until the spring, right? Or you,
probably.
yeah, I figured. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and, oh, I had a question, but I lost it. Oh, you said 3 years of monitoring? Or 2
The
years?
usual period of time for the commission is, for most replications and mitigation areas, is 3 years.
Just the length of the permit,
Okay,
actually, yeah.
It's per the town bylaw regulations.
Okay.
and those
just,
usually
yeah,
was-
cause I'm gonna do up a new kind of packet of information with everything that we discussed tonight, new planting plan,
Just to have it in as a.
yeah, so that will be the
final
final document.
It's always good to have accurate final documents.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
And then timeline, like you said, probably won't be till spring, so.
Yeah, the next growing season.
So- Timeline, have that in by. Like.
For like June.
All the
15th.
new.
Yeah.
Plan.
June of twenty
Yeah,
twenty-six.
just so there's a date to follow
Yeah.
up.
June,
Yeah, for the plantings to be successful, they should be in like May, the latest.
Well,
mean,
the
you-
plan
the-
should be in
No, the
before.
plan's gotta be to us, like.
Yeah.
Plan's gonna be into,
Not the
next
plan.
week.
I
Plan
meant
is
planting,
different.
I'm
No,
sorry.
planting and-
Plantings, not
Yeah.
plans, plantings are.
Sorry.
make sure
I said
we
the wrong
plant
thing.
before June 15th.
Yeah. Okay.
I heard plans.
It's like
That
bad,
I
that's
definitely
scary.
could-
June again?
Okay,
We're all tired.
all right, any other discussion points, questions?
No,
Okay. Ariane,
aye.
Nicole,
Bye.
Pam,
Aye.
James,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Okay, yeah, so you have your marching orders, as they say. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. So the next hearing is October 8th. When is that information due for the next hearing? 1 week before, so next week?
Yeah, that's fine.
One week before? Okay,
Thank you for coming in.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, have a nice night.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda, it is very brief, I promise. Because it is a new hearing for an NOI, Lakeview Ave, construction of single family home within buffer zone to BVW, Quarry Development LLC is the applicant. Southbridge Joy and Associates are the representatives, and they have requested a continuation to the 24th of September.
It's not a new hearing, right? Continuation.
Well, it says continue hearing, but I see the C over the top of the new, and I wasn't sure what you were saying. C, it's new, but yeah, okay. So it's a continued hearing. Yes, we did speak on this in the last meeting, correct? So it's a continued hearing, but it's still an NOI and it's still been requested to be continued for the 24th. The applicant's representative and the applicant are not in the room, so. we will
So
not-
moved.
It got continued to the second meeting in October?
No, the first,
Oh, okay.
October 8th.
You have,
That's what I
it
have
says
on here.
continued request to 9/24 on mine.
That must be.
That's 10/8 on ours.
10/8.
Can you print it yourself?
That must have been the last hearings.
I gave you a new.
I thought it was the one I just took off the here. I was like, never mind. Oh, no, sorry, my bad. I grabbed the wrong one, those yellow highlighted. I grabbed your yellow.
I thought it was.
Yes, so correct, and this is continued to, been requested to be continued to the next meeting, October 8th at 2025 by the applicant, correct?
So moved.
Thank you, Ariane.
Seconded.
And thank you. Any other discussion?
Can I ask a question about that? Hannah? Did we, I don't remember. Did we get comments from DEP on that?
We did get a couple, it was just like erosion controls and stuff. This was just, they're still updating the plans for
Septic and stuff?
septic stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so we have motion second, any discussion now? Okay, all in favor, let's see, Ariane,
Aye.
Pam,
Aye.
Bo,
Aye.
Pam, Mike, aye, okay. Into the evening of October 8th, 2020. 7 p.m. All right, we had on the other business, resident discussion of Zero Railroad Streets / Net Trail States, that was Dan, Kelly, thank you. And he has just, as of today, asked to be not continued because it's a discussion, so we're not actually a hearing, but that he would like to come back again at perhaps the next meeting. He's gathering some information and will hopefully be in more electronic communication with.
Are we gonna have a really busy hearing on these? That's
It's
good.
somewhat busy, but still, I mean, compared to some of the other stuff we've had, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just.
I just would hate for him to be stuck here until 10 o'clock at night and. then
Yeah,
have
no, well, it kind of seems like that also sometimes works better for his schedule, because most of the time when he comes partway through, so.
Oh, then,
I'm
yeah,
not sure, but I can always check with him,
I just,
but.
I just know he's already frustrated with the
Yeah,
situation.
and I can always let him know that it's kind of long if it gets long,
Yeah,
but.
I will say-
We only have Blackstone Street, Lakeview,
Oh, for some reason I thought we had
That's
a
it.
bunch of hearings.
because usually we do, but.
Yeah.
I did say I went out to take a quick look on Blackstone Street, but also at Zero Railroad Street, which when you Google map it, it's not anywhere near where actually Google Maps says it is. It's off of Lake Street. It's not off of Zero Railroad Street, which is like halfway along Railroad Street when Google Maps says you're here. I'm looking around this now, there's no, but I saw the site. I actually, there were a couple people in Dan's backyard. I took a couple pictures up the road because I hadn't seen it for a while. I saw the trees at the top of the hill and so forth. Not that you could drive up the roads, it's all dirt, sand, recently smoothed out and nice and even. See what happens after tomorrow's rain, but anyway, so that has been requested to be continued down the road by Dan, and we'll see about that. 380 Lake Street violation discussion. So I think almost everyone on the commission has now seen 380 Lake Street. So I think what we need to discuss whether we're going to be doing a violation. If so, what are we gonna be doing? Is it just the driveway? Is it the driveway on the wetlands line and proposed patio pool area, which is not yet been determined exactly where it's gonna be? Neither has the wetlands line been demarcated clearly by an expert on the field.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'd like to.
Yeah, I'd like to see the
hold off
demarcation.
Voting on a violation until we know they actually fill the wetland.
Does there anyone have any points or questions about having seen it now, done sidewalks? The driveway situation in particular, because while we're waiting for some information about the back area and where they might want to put a pool and how close it would be and all that stuff, forth and where the wetlands is, the driveway situation. With the property line right there and so forth is pretty firm. I don't think you need much demarcation there. It's more of.
Yeah.
What, if anything, should be, could be, would be done. Does anyone have any thoughts they wanted to bring up at this point in time, since it's relatively fresh in minds versus another 2 weeks from now? Which we can wait if we need to. I mean, that row is arborvitae, right?
Yeah,
Arborvitae they were put in by the property owner, correct? So it's driveway, gravel for a little bit, arborvitae, gravel bank dropping down. Fence, an old fence that they worked up to, and then property line, I think.
Yeah, the fence isn't there anymore, but yes, they
Well,
were
there's
stating
pieces
that
of
that's
wire
kind of
that
where
she
they
pointed
were.
out when we were walking it. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's still there, but
Yep,
yeah, I heard her say, oh, that's where we stopped because we saw a fence there, figured it was okay to stop there.
I'd really like to see like a delineation though, like just to wrap my mind around it.
Yeah, well, that's fine for the back area, it's gonna matter, but I'm just, if I was clear on where the property line was from when we sidewalked it, there's more of a question of, is something gonna have to be taken out? Is the commission on mind that it's already been disturbed and trying to do something else in that area will be not worth it?
Well, arborvitae's are native.
I don't know if down on the back side of the arborvitae's going towards the property line / intermittent drainage stream or whatever that is, the wet area there that feeds around the back side there. Whether anything should be done in that area, it looked pretty rough, disturbed and so forth. I don't know if there's a way to make it better environmentally without disturbing it even more, dig it up, put a bunch of wetlands plantings and so forth in there, to only to find out that they wouldn't take because it's. I don't know, a drain property or whatever, there's too much stone up, or taking some stone out, somebody had suggested at one point in time. Along one side or the other, I don't know where they would mean, I'm sure they don't mean between the driveway and the arborvitae, because then the arborvitae would fall over into the driveway.
yeah, I think it was just the main concern seemed like, at least to me, was the gravel that was between the arborvitae and the
The stream,
wetland
yeah.
and the
Right.
drain bed.
It not being stabilized.
If
properly.
anything, it might be good
Well,
to
and
get
also
them
just
to
the
take that out.
naturalization, but yeah.
Right, so. Does the commission, having seen that area, if everybody's thinking about it the same way, Pam and Ariane, if you were looking to down the driveway to the left side of the arborvitae where it slopes down with the gravel, as Hannah just pointed out. Any thoughts on maybe requiring some sort of stabilization, naturalization, some sort of, I mean, it's rocky but smallish rocks, if my recollection is right, and pretty steep. Whether some sort of infill without allowing washout, obviously, but then some planting of some sort of herbaceous, grassy, spreading, low carpety thing that would be a good thing. I don't know enough about
Yeah.
the
To
plantings.
be honest, it seems like an improvement over the previous conditions, specifically that gravel. Not
What
the drive,
appears to be an improvement? What I just said, or what's there now?
the gravel that they added,
Is it improvement over what?
the previous conditions, which
So we-
was like construction and demolition debris strewn all over the ground
Yeah, well.
and like trash. So
Not very high standard.
I mean-
I don't know.
But I mean,
Yeah,
the
we got
the
that.
gravel provides a functional,
it reduces sediment.
Erosion.
yeah, that
And,
fine, the fines are not gonna get into that BBW, it's just gonna get stuck in that gravel. In a decade, they're gonna have to refresh it, but, you know. My only concern would be if it was physically if any of that was physically within the BBW, which we don't know
Yeah.
Right, well,
what the line is.
okay, well, we'll find that, and that will be
Yeah.
helpful to have, yeah, as you said.
Yeah, cause like as of right now, like I think removing some of that stone that could tumble into that stream and fill that in eventually. Like and replacing it with like little blue stem or something that's gonna hold that slope and also provide filtration for anything that's running off in between those arborvitae, salt, if they put salt down. Gravel, whatever they're putting down. you know, because a lot of those plantings mitigate the soil and mitigate the water that is going to be running into that stream, so plantings could only help. And they will do just as good of a job stabilizing that slope as the stones, in my professional opinion.
As long as they don't get washed out before they take it. It's a pretty steep slope.
You'd be surprised
I know.
if you get plugs. Plugs will establish better than on a slope than older plants.
We can
That's
have them
what-
plant some poison ivy, then no one will touch it again.
You don't have that poison ivy, get the goats in, eat it up. Okay, so that's the point for, I think, maybe if it seems the commission is amenable or not amenable, looking to get the delineation along the property line there from the driveway and the road all the way back around to that culvert in the backside behind the shed. That we get that delineated and then take this up again. Is that the feeling, and not do anything about a violation? at
We
this
are,
point in time?
we already essentially gave them the guidance in the field to get, no matter what, get the line delineated. And then I
Yeah.
think we set a deadline for when we expect to have that information. That if we don't have it, no, we
could.
can, and then if we don't get it by then we can discuss an issuing violation. At this point, I would want to see how big of a violation, or if it's a violation at all, because right now it's all speculative.
I agree.
All right, so we can communicate back to the property owner, that's about the situation that we are waiting to hear, and that we're looking to have a response / delineation done by, but of course, that's
Maybe the first hearing in November, give them the month of October.
a wetland scientist, and if they can't for some reason, because the wetland scientists are all busy and can't do it, or they know this is the simplest version that they can possibly ask for, probably. And they're not asking for a whole site plan or anything like that, very complicated project or anything. What's the feeling? Give them till the beginning of November, as James suggests, the month of October to get this something back to us, or else we would
I
consider.
think that's realistic.
I agree.
And they, I mean, they have incentive to do it because they also want to develop. So I don't see them
I
not.
wanted like a pool like yesterday, so I think they
Yeah.
have a fire under their butts.
Okay,
My only
Yes,
other
ma'am.
question was like in terms of, I guess we can just push it off to later, but just because people do typically ask like, oh, what do we think next steps are? So I can just be like, yep, nope, nothing, but
What
just
do
in
people
terms
think
of
about-
what are my next steps? So I don't
Steps.
want to like tell them anything if, we're just waiting,
We
but
could
in terms
delineation at this
because
point in time.
typically we would ask for like them to have an after the fact NOI, even if there wasn't,
True.
enforcement. So I was like, I.
Or an RDA.
I thought that we
Yes.
had them at the last meeting. I thought we agreed to have them do an NOI.
I think it was just kind of all put off until after the delineation was done. I don't think we came to a.
When they
specific
were
conclusion.
here, when they were here in person, I thought we decided to wait to decide on something until we saw it.
Right.
And then seeing it, I think the bulk of us out there decided that we'd like to have it on a plan. So I think the guidance we can give them is that we will make a determination on what we think is appropriate once we have a
Just
plan.
until after.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
that way, one, we're not getting their hopes up, and two, we're setting clear expectations of,
Yeah.
we expect to see something.
Yeah, or at least be communicating with us if they have a problem and that they're actively working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, anything else on that? Anything you want to bring up? Okay, minutes approval, 7/23/25. I have made one very minor notation about the well number 10, 11. I always get it wrong.
Did anyone figure out who the people who made a motion and seconded were?
No, is that the,
Oh, yes, I had, did I?
there were blanks
did I
on
put
the,
Oh, I
minutes.
must have, yeah, I figured it. It was tough because the motion was made really early on. And then, and then it,
lingering motion.
and then it was like a very long discussion, and then the motion was made, so I think it just got lost, but yes, I do, I can pull that up.
Ariane, I bet you were one of the people making the motion, right?
Probably.
Well,
Well, I was like, I had the video up and was
Oh,
trying
did
to
you?
figure it out, but it was very hard to like,
It was way earlier than you would think.
Yeah.
I was going through it for a long time.
Maybe the day before?
Sometimes video.
Okay.
that was 1 hour and 25 minutes into our meeting.
Did I save the wrong?
Speaking of these minutes, did we ever hear anything else about that Eagle Scout project?
They're actually he's gonna come present at the next
Oh,
meeting.
good, okay.
Yep. So, yes.
Good.
Um,
I have no other comments then. Grill.
Yeah, I don't have any thoughts on the minutes. It's too far back in time for me to remember.
And I think on page 4, the only thing I had was that it said, this is, or again, either well number 10 or 11, I can't remember which one it was. The one they were gonna have the road off of High Street. The maintenance of a 1,750 foot, the maintenance of a 1,750 foot of an existing access, and the construction of a 560 foot extension, large diameter test well and prolonged test pump. I said, well, an existing access isn't not a word, and is existing access, I thought shouldn't be something like a road or access trailway or something, but existing access didn't make sense. And the construction of a 560 foot extension, again, road access or something is what was actually being brought up as the description. So I just added those to the same word, whatever it's gonna be, word road or access path or whatever, as opposed to it. So that was my only point for the minutes.
I have the, I have.
Okay, who was it?
It It was, I saved it in a different file for some reason. Steve made the motion to approve the waiver and Pam was second.
Okay, so.
Why did you sound so surprised?
No,
Well, just because
Emma.
Ariane was like, oh, I think I did it.
relieved that we found it, that's what I am, because it'd be hard to make up names and, don't want to do that if we find facts. Thank you for digging that out, researching it and looking into it too, Ariana. Appreciate that. So with those two corrections, the one I made editorially and the addition of the missing 2 names to the draft minutes, are there any other notations? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll accept motion to accept the minutes as proposed with changes. James, second.
Second.
Nicole, thank you. Any discussion? Pam,
Aye.
Marianne,
Aye.
James,
Hi.
Nicole,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Okay, yes, vote. Any other new business, anything else, Hannah, that you need to tell us about? There was a workshop on stormwater regulations that I sat in on today. It was really good. It was really thorough. When we can get access through MACC to the information reports, and so forth, it just made me really feel glad that we have peer review, because there's no way I would know all this stuff. And to make sure
Yeah,
that
that presentation was great.
I saw your comment, yeah, Pam, online, yeah. He's apologizing for me, the speaker, for too much information. Everyone's like, no, this is great.
Who presented it?
Oh, I missed that one.
Do you remember?
Well, it was someone from PAR, but
Oh,
I forget who. It was an
Yeah,
engineer from PAR.
But he spoke well, pretty clearly, and can understand and so forth, but there was just a ton of information, and it also reinforced the fact that the developers and applicants, as he put it, often don't either know or may know and know better, but still try to not do things that they're required to do, and the commission has the right to ask for, whether it's certain types of reports or data or test logs are required, not just borings, et cetera, and things like that, that he made comments on. So having that information in hand in reinforcement with a good peer reviewer, I think gives me a better feeling that we have firmer leg to stand on when we're facing applicants. And they're wetland science experts and so forth, who are just saying, oh, this is all we need to do. So anyway.
I
thought
also think, like, I wasn't obviously at this meeting, but I think stormwater, even though we've had a couple of people come before us recently and say things like, oh, planning board handles it, stormwater is integral to all the other things that we protect under the Wetlands Protection Act. So, like, if you don't have stormwater sizing correct for your site, now you have a flooding issue. If you don't treat that stormwater correctly, now you have an issue with water quality and groundwater. So, like, we should know more about stormwater.
Right.
I
And
admittedly have a lot more to learn.
this guy was talking about it, said he's not an expert on everything.
Because I can't.
And
I-
you talk
I'm
about
teaching.
erosion at one point in time, and making sure that the applicants are clear and have proven to you scientifically that they are what the volume is of water coming out of their outputs of structures for a 100-year storm, and is that going to be handled? It's going to scour out the area. If not, they proposed a sufficient level of protection, riprap, whatever. And you have the right to ask those questions. He said, and sometimes we'll be surprised at the applicants' representatives being surprised that they're being asked this kind of question when it's perfectly in your purview to ask it. So it was good workshop. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Something that I thought was interesting is he had said that a few towns have put in their bylaws to use the NOAA storm data
Nice.
because of climate change. And I was like, that'd be a great idea. What do you think the chances are of us doing that in Bellingham?
It's not easy from what I hear, which obviously like there's a reason for that, but I think that our bylaw is also vague enough that we can just use it if we want, because it says the Cornell method, which was Cliff's favorite, and is probably, I think, derived from a similar model, but it says or equivalent or similarly conservative, something like that. So like we have the discretion to choose which model, basically.
Mm.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Anybody have anything else? What is this? Was on last year? This was like something about loop charts and project. I don't know. That's something you gave me?
Oh, no, this is something I gave you.
Oh, before.
Yeah,
Okay, so
this is your, that's why it says Mike's copy.
well, I saw that. Is this a new copy for me or one of that?
No, no, that was
Okay.
when we were doing our
So I
big
just
long.
fell on a
discussion.
pile of papers here. Okay, thanks. All right, if there's no other business, we can wrap this up and be out of here basically in an hour. So that's not bad. I think it's a record.
That is incredible.
Thank you, everybody.
Mhm.
I'll accept a motion to close the meeting and adjourn.
So moved.
Oh, right. Okay, James, Pam, thank you. Any other discussion? No, all in favor, Ariane,
I
Pam,
Aye.
Cole,
Aye.
James, Mike, aye. Thank you,
All
everybody.
right. Good night,
Night.
everyone.
Have a good night.
Thank
Hey,
you.
guys.
Good night. Thank you.